Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Nvidia's sort of new G-Sync push, new initiative, whatever label you want to put on that. But you may have heard from CES that Nvidia just announced that some adaptive refresh rate monitors, specifically FreeSync monitors, will actually be able to be enabled for G-Sync inside of Nvidia's control panel with an update to the drivers for 10 series and 20 series cards that's coming on January 15th. So from the time of filming, 5 days, if you're watching this Friday, about 4 days from the time you might be watching this. Now, up on screen, we actually have Nvidia's official website where they're sort of announcing the G-Sync compatible monitors. And if we scroll down here, sort of towards the middle of the page, you have this big image that tells you exactly the monitors that are officially certified and compatible with this new G-Sync push. And these monitors are actually pretty interesting because of their pricing compared to traditionally G-Sync monitors, which if there is G-Sync hardware in the monitor, you can expect that it will cost quite a bit more than its FreeSync counterpart, sometimes as much as like $200, maybe even $300, depending on the monitor you're looking at. Obviously, the higher end of monitors are going to probably have a little bit bigger of a gap because those companies are looking for a little bit more of a margin with those higher end products. On the lower end, you might not see the gap that big, but you definitely do see G-Sync monitors going for a significant amount of money more than their FreeSync counterparts. So of these G-Sync compatible monitors that Nvidia has certified, I actually have one up on screen right now. This is the Acer gaming monitor. This is the XFA240. It's a 1080p 144 hertz monitor. It's a TN panel with 1 millisecond response time, and you'll notice, of course, in the title, at least on the Amazon page, it advertises AMD FreeSync, though with this January 15th update, because it is certified by Nvidia, it will come with G-Sync enabled by default if you're using presumably a DisplayPort cable. To my knowledge, you can't run that over HDMI, at least right now. That's my understanding right now. I could be completely wrong, and if I am, please let me know down below in those comments. But provided you're using DisplayPort and provided that you have this monitor and you get the January 15th update with an Nvidia 10 or 20 series card, you should notice that this G-Sync is enabled by default on this particular monitor. Now, with that said, if we pop back over here to the sort of page that's announcing all of this, and if we scroll down here, this monitor that I just looked at, that Acer monitor, as well as these other 11 in this image, would fall into the G-Sync compatible range, where by default G-Sync is on. However, if you have a FreeSync monitor that is not certified by Nvidia, you can manually turn on G-Sync, provided again that you're using that DisplayPort cable and you have the January 15th update with a GTX 10 or 20 series card. You can go into the Nvidia control panel and actually turn on G-Sync even if your monitor is not compatible, or at least officially compatible according to Nvidia. However, keep in mind that you may see some sort of artifacting. Apparently, there are some flickering issues potentially there that Nvidia doesn't like, which is why by default G-Sync won't be enabled with those panels. But you can at least test yours for yourself to see if your monitor is going to play nice with G-Sync. And I would hope that over time, as the drivers mature too, that compatibility list might actually expand a little bit. We'll see with that. Now, moving back to this chart after we've sort of covered those FreeSync monitors and whatnot, the reason that G-Sync is not going to be going anywhere anytime soon is actually in this little paragraph above this sort of chart here. And the reason that Nvidia says that G-Sync is not going anywhere is because only really those G-Sync monitors with the G-Sync module in them are going to be able to go from 1 hertz clear up to the maximum panel refresh rate, whereas these FreeSync monitors that are at least looking like they're going to play nice with G-Sync, they'll be able to adjust their frame rate some, but they're not going to be able to necessarily go from 1 hertz clear up to, in the monitor that I showed off here on Amazon, 144 hertz. It's likely that their range is going to be significantly smaller than what G-Sync would like to see from their certified monitors. And then, of course, for the best experience, you get the G-Sync Ultimate monitors, which are going to have all of those things going for them. So they have a validated experience. They can go from that 1 hertz clear up to their maximum refresh rate, but also then they have HDR functionality, and that's what Nvidia is calling GSync Ultimate. So instead of having sort of one GSync idea floating around here now, we're going to have 3 different levels, which may be a little bit confusing for the consumer, but of course in my mind the pros outweigh the cons here, especially with the idea that you can start with an AMD graphics card right now on the lower end, and the mid-range they're a little bit cheaper than Nvidia cards, so you could get like an RX 570 for about $130. And yes, I don't know if this deal is still going to be around, but right now you can in fact snag that RX 570 for that $130. A GTX 1050 Ti or a 1060 3GB going to run a little bit more than that. So you can start off gaming with those cards and still get a monitor like this Acer where you're not breaking the bank, but still getting a very great high refresh rate gaming experience. But then you can actually upgrade to an Nvidia part here and still take advantage of that adaptive refresh rate, which before now, if you were running an AMD card, you were stuck with FreeSync, and if you were running an Nvidia card, you were stuck with GSync, unless of course you were willing to kind of do the workarounds where you might have something like a 1080 Ti and then some sort of other AMD graphics card, and you're kind of running the image through the AMD graphics card, or you're running an AMD APU and you're doing something like that. I'll try to remember to link a video here. I think Linus did one. I think some other YouTube channels did one on that sort of workaround. But unless you were willing to play around with that, you were really stuck in one of the two camps. But now with this, and I see that my battery and my mouse is going to die soon, probably while editing this, I might add. But now with this new initiative by Nvidia, you're not necessarily tied to FreeSync. If you get an AMD GPU, you could start with a FreeSync monitor and then carry it over to an Nvidia graphics card upgrade maybe down the line. So I know that's a lot of information in a very short span of time, but that's just sort of my take on this new GSync initiative with allowing these FreeSync monitors to then play with Nvidia graphics cards and at least then maintain some of that adaptive refresh rate technology and allow Nvidia cards to take advantage of FreeSync monitors. I think it's a great move by Nvidia, but of course I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this whole thing down below. And while we're on topic, I'm going to try to remember to link some of these monitors if I can find them on Amazon. I'll leave links down below so you can check them out, though I'm pretty sure this Acer one was the cheapest I saw earlier when I was looking at all the different models on Amazon, right around $200 in case you're wanting to, on a budget, get into adaptive high refresh rate gaming. And if you already have an Nvidia 10 series or a 20 series card, that would be a great starting point. But if you like this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things. Social media on the bottom of the screen down here somewhere. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.